Hello and welcome to this session in which we will discuss government bonds. In the prior session, we discussed bonds in general. And what's a bond? A bond is a form of borrowing. So if a company is looking to raise money, or rather than a company, any entity, they need money. What do? They issue bonds. They issue a piece of paper called bonds, which we talked about in the prior session. In return, the lenders will give them money. Now, what would the lenders expect in return? They will expect their money plus they will expect interest. In this session, we will focus on the type of entities that will be borrowing is the government. And here we are assuming the US government. So the government bonds are debt securities issued by federal, state, or local. And we have in the US, in the United States, we have three level of government. We have the federal US government, we have the state, and we have the local. And each of these entities can borrow money using government bonds. Now you will see there are different consequences, specifically tax consequences for these different bonds. And this is what we will talk about here. We'll talk about government bonds in general, but we need to know the features of government bonds, specifically their tax feature, their tax attractiveness or competitiveness. Now, when the US government, when the federal government issue bonds, it issues something we called Treasury securities. Now we have three types of Treasury securities depending on for how long the government is borrowing money. The government can issue Treasury bills or T-bills. Usually those are for 4 weeks to 1 year. So when the government wants to borrow money for short term, for 3 months, for 2 months, for 6 months, they will issue Treasury bill. If the government wants to borrow money for a medium term here we assume 2 to 10 years, they issue something called Treasury notes or T notes. And that's a note between 2 to 10 years. And the third option is when the government wants to issue debt for a long time, 30 years. Those are called Treasury bonds. Now, we would learn later, but I hope you are starting to get into the habit of analyzing the information giving. What does that mean? The longer the government issue the bonds, the more they have to pay interest. For example, just for the sake of simplicity, if they're paying 3% on the T-bills, they might have to pay 5% on the Treasury note, and they might have to pay 10% for the Treasury bonds. And we'll talk about the yield curve later on. But the point I want you to remember, if you borrow for a short period of time, you can offer a lower interest rate because the risk is lower. Remember, the longer you have to pay back the money, the riskier is for the lender and the more they would require an interest rate. But this is an introduction about government bonds. Now we're going to see why do people or investors invest in government bonds? Why do they give their money to the government, and the tax, specifically the tax consequences. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, farhatlectures.com.
Our corporate finance course is best for online students and students who are taking corporate finance courses. We cover financial statements, discounted cash flow, stock valuation, bond valuation, NPV and capital investment decisions, cost of capital, risk and return, as well as other topics. Our course include lectures as well as multiple choice questions. Go ahead and start your free trial today. No obligation. We are here to help. Your success starts here.
So the first reason is there's a low risk of default. Well, we can remove the low to no default. US Treasury are backed by the US government, the federal government, so they carry virtually no default risk. Now you might be saying why that's the case. Well, why? Because the government can print money. The government can raise taxes, so they will never run out of money. If they need money, they can tax the people and get the money to pay off their debt, or they can simply print money. So when you buy government bonds, one of the features that you need to know is it's in practicality risk-free. Risk-free means you take no risk, and that's why people will invest their money in government bonds. And because there's no risk, no default, we're going to see it has a low return. No risk comes with low return. The other reason why you could have tax advantages specifically for certain type of government bond. So interest income from Treasury securities is exempt from state and local income taxes, though still taxable on the federal level. Now, when you buy Treasury bonds, you still have to pay taxes on the interest. Why did you buy them? Because you want to earn interest. However, the interest income from the Treasury bond is exempt from state and local taxes. So what does that mean? Okay, federal, state, and local. So if you have a Treasury stock, you have to pay taxes and you received interest income because you have this Treasury stock. You have to pay taxes for the federal government on that income. You don't have to pay for the state. You don't have to pay for the local. So the state could be 3 to 5%. The local usually 1%, usually, or it depends, 1 to 2. So simply put, you don't have to pay 3% taxes and 1% taxes on your interest from Treasury stock. Other key features of government bond is something when we have municipal bonds. And notice here, we have federal government. So the federal government can issue bonds or can borrow money. And this is what we're talking about here. When we say Treasury, we really mean the federal government. Now we're going to talk about another type of bonds that are called municipal bonds, municipal or state bond. So the state government could also issue bonds. They can borrow money, and the local government can issue bonds. Municipalities, cities, counties, your school district, they can also issue bonds as well to borrow money. So municipal bonds, local and state government also issue bonds known as munis or municipal bonds. Now we need to know a little bit more about these bonds. These bonds often have lower yields compared to taxable bonds, but provide significant tax benefit. So when you buy these bonds, they usually have even a lower yield sometimes than Treasury stock. Why? You're going to see why. Because their interest income is typically exempt from the federal taxes. So let's go back to that picture. Now we're talking about interest income from now the state government. Now we're looking at interest income paid by the state government and paid by the local government. If that's the case, you don't have to pay taxes on the federal level, and the federal is the highest taxes. So when you buy a bond from a state or a bond from a municipality and you receive income, that income is exempt from federal taxes. And that's important because federal taxes are the highest rate. And sometimes it's also exempt from state and local government. That becomes a state rule. Some states, if you live in the state and you buy the bond, you're also exempt from state and local, especially if you live in the issuing state. I just said it. Okay. So why buy muni bonds if they offer a lower yield? Well, because if you are in a high tax bracket, you are going to see you could save on your taxes. So high income investors often favor municipal bond because they are tax free. Because let's assume you could make two investments, okay? And one investment will pay you $100 and the other investment will pay you $100. That's investment A, this is investment B. Okay, so what's the difference between them? Nothing if they're both paying $100. What it makes the difference when you want to pay your taxes. If you want to pay your taxes, and let's assume you're in the 25% tax bracket, you have to pay $25 and what you're left with is $75 because your tax rate is 25% and this investment is taxable. If investment B is not taxable, tax-free, you will keep the $100. So notice, what you keep now, what you would compare is the after tax, and that's what matters all the time. What matters is after tax return. After tax return is what matters. Therefore, municipal bond will always, their benefit is the after tax return because you don't have to pay taxes on them. Therefore, the higher your taxes, the more is your savings. What does that mean? So if your tax rate is 35%, you have to pay $35 in taxes. Here you saved $35 in taxes. So the higher your tax rate, the better off you are. Now let's take a look at an example to see how this all plays out in the real world. Let's assume a municipal bond yielding 4.2%. A treasury bond is yielding 6.07%. An investor will have a marginal tax rate of 24%. What does it mean, a marginal tax rate? It means this individual pays 24%. We're going to assume on the last dollar of income. It means that's the taxes that they have to pay on this income is 24%. Which bond offer the higher return after taxes? Now, the municipal bond is already after tax. So you don't have to do anything with the municipal bond because it's already after tax. What do we have to do? We have to turn this 6.07 to a rate after tax. How do we do that? Well, we have to compute the after-tax yield on the Treasury bond. How do you compute that? You will take the interest, you multiply it by 1 minus the tax rate. The tax rate happens to be how much? 24%. So how does it work? So the after-tax yield is, you will take 6.07 times 1 minus 0.26. Your after-tax yield is 4.61. Now, the after-tax is 4.61. It looks like the Treasury bond still a better deal after you pay your taxes. So since 4.61 still greater than 4.21, the Treasury bonds offer a better after-tax return for this investor. Always compare the after-tax return, especially when you're evaluating tax-exempt bond. Now let's assume the tax rate for this individual. Let's redo the computation to show you how it will make a difference. Let's assume this individual is in the 35% tax bracket. So we're going to take 6.07 times 1 minus 0.35. So let's do first 1 minus 35, 1 minus 0.35, that's 0.65 times 0.0675. If you do that, now you are at 4.38. Still, it's a better deal. Still, the Treasury bond is a better deal. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. Which of the following formulas, so we have a bunch of formulas below, correctly compute the interest rate a tax-exempt bond must yield to be equivalent to a taxable bond interest rate, assuming a given marginal tax rate T? We have 4 formulas. So we know that the tax-exempt bond is, we don't have to make any adjustment to it. What we have to do is we have to take the taxable rate of the other investment and make some adjustment to it, because you're comparing 2 things. We're comparing the tax exempt bond to a taxable investment. So what do? We're going to take the taxable rate, whatever that taxable rate happens to be. If it's 7, 8, 9%, we're going to take, let's assume the tax exempt bond is 6%. That's it. We are done. Now the taxable, the other investment is earning 9%. That's the taxable rate. What do we have to do? We have to take the taxable rate multiplied by 1 minus the tax rate. If the tax rate happens to be 30%, 0.3, what we're doing is we took 9% times 0.3. So let's times 1 minus 0.3, which is times 0.7, which equal to 6.3. So the formula that equates a tax-exempt bond to a taxable bond is you'll take the rate times 1 minus the tax rate. What I'm left is after I pay my taxes is 70%. I'm still better off going with 70%, means yielding 6.3. Let's assume if we make the tax 0.35. So I'm going to take 0.09 times 0.65. That's going to give me, not good, 5.85. Now I'm going to use the tax exempt investment because the taxable one after taxes would yield 5.65. How? Although I said it's 9%, that's the taxable rate. After I assume a 35% tax bracket, what I'm left with is 65% of the 9%, which is 5.65, which is lower than the tax exempt bond. So you want to make sure you are comfortable with this formula. How does it work? The after-tax return. After-tax return, you'll take whatever that return you're being offered that's taxable, you multiply it by 1 minus the tax rate. 1 minus the tax rate will give you the ratio that you keep because you deducted the taxes, and that will be your answer. What should you do? Now you want to go to Farhat lectures, look at additional resources, multiple choice, true, false, any additional lectures to help you, whether you are a CPA exam candidate, accounting students, finance students, or studying for a professional certification. Invest in yourself. That's the best investment you can make. Good luck and stay safe.